Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I am up. I am Adam. So there's one more that I really want to do. Let me check my sound. I hope everyone is doing okay this morning. Alright, good. So Ocasio-Cortez is running against party boss of New York, Representative Crowley. Now, she has come out with both barrels blazing. And I hadn't necessarily paid too much attention to this particular race. But I started seeing and hearing things here and there. And one of the things that I realized that she was talking about, that she was pretty clear on, was issues of class. Now, Crowley, being a Democrat, tried to make this about identity and ran into a buzzsaw and trying to make it about identity when she kind of makes this point that this is about class. Putting an African American, an Asian American, a Hispanic, putting somebody in that office just because they're of a particular racial demographic is not necessarily the same thing as putting somebody in office that represents a particular interest. Those things are different. You can have somebody who's African American who will easily sell his people out down the river and vice versa. Most of that stuff boils down most of the class if you're looking for these kind of similarities as opposed to just these ideas of race. Crowley has a debate with Ocasio-Cortez. Crowley gets the stuffing beat out of him. Roundly watched opinion got the living stuffing beat out of him. She hit Crowley over and over and over again. When Crowley tried to make it about race, she again articulated that this was about class. This was not necessarily about putting an Asian or a Hispanic in a particular in an office. She hit Crowley to the point where he just started to squeak. Ugh. And he would say something like, I have experience. I have experience. I have experience. I have experience. This needs somebody with experience. And Trump. And Trump. Experience in Trump. She beat the stuffing out of him. Now, after taking a beating this particular bad, he crawled back, I would imagine, to his hole. And they had another scheduled debate. And apparently that debate he flaked on tonight and sent a surrogate in his place. That's some rat bastard shit to do on two fronts. So let me show you what I mean. So this image, this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This was her point. I'm disappointed that Representative Crowley has failed to show up for a second time to a community debate. The first time was an empty chair excuse that he wasn't in town. The second time he sent a surrogate, except he tweeted photos of himself 5 subway stops away just this morning. The only reason he would do that is if he believes he can get away with that. And the only reason he would tweet photos of himself doing that is because he's being an absolute dick about it. That's why. Also, this picture is not necessarily the best picture for you, Alexandria. If I'm being honest, just from a political standpoint, and I don't necessarily mean to criticize you, even though I'm probably just going to sound like criticism. You are an equal candidate in stature to him. You should never debate a surrogate. It's not him. Ultimately, your goal is to be against Crowley. The image of you sitting with some random guy who he just pulled out of some McDonald's is not necessarily the best image of the world when somebody is looking at you and they're trying to compare you, a 28-year-old, to Crowley. It makes it look as if you're not even up to snuff to sit with Crowley. I'm just telling you. If you were in Parliament and the Prime Minister didn't show up, Jeremy Corbyn is not going to stand and make that argument. They're going to put in a surrogate in order to have the argument with the other surrogate. The vice president of the United States in a debate is never going to have a conversation or a debate with the president or the person who's running as a presidential candidate. It looks weird. It's an offset picture. The way to deal with that, and I understand it's somewhat awkward, would be to decline the debate. If Crowley doesn't want to show up here, I am not going to debate his surrogate. And you can call it sexist and everything you want to do after that, but don't sit down and have that debate with him with this particular picture, with you sitting here debating some random guy that they pulled out of some McDonald's or some other shop in New York, some deli or something. Whether you want to call it elitism or sexism, I would say it's politics. That image looks bad. From a political standpoint, if you wanted to be an absolute dick about it, he's sending you those pictures so you know he's being a dick about it. It is an absolute dick move, by the way. That's a complete dick move. Either he believes that he is so far ahead in this that this is a done deal. I don't have to show up for this debate. I lose nothing by not showing up for this debate, and I am so confident that I lose nothing. Here's pictures of me near the debate hall, and yet I'm not going to be at the debate hall. So, you know. Now, the other catch is she beat the living stuffing out of me to such a degree that I lose by going. Meaning, I couldn't argue with the woman on substance. I couldn't argue with her on policy. And the most that I can end up with saying, I'm experienced and I really hate Trump. Donald Trump is a maniac and I really hate Trump. That's the best that I could say. I don't want to go into another debate where I have to spend 30 minutes saying that over and over and over and over again, because I can't necessarily deal with her on the real policy. And Ro Khanna supported this guy. Yeah, that's a dick move. Again, I get the politics, and you may say from a political standpoint that may work. Here's the thing. Politicians only do things if they need to do those things. How do you get somebody who doesn't want to do something that you want them to do that they don't necessarily want to do? Well, you can't. You need some level of political force or some level of impetus to get those guys to move. In this particular case, if he full well believe I am so far ahead, this is the lock. He has nothing to gain at that point going to the debate. And even if he looks bad, even if people think bad about him, even if people say bad names about him, ultimately his only care is winning in the most brutal and straightforward way that he can win. Like I said, he's spiking the football. I really hope she puts a knife in him. He's a vampire. He needs a stake in his heart. And I mean that purely in a political standpoint. That's a really fucking dick move. Like I am not only am I not going to show up to the debate, I am going to tweet out pictures. So you know I am in the area. Because if I don't tweet out those pictures, maybe I'm in China somewhere. You would know. I need to get across to you that I am in the area to get across the level of offense that I am showing in this moment. That is a goddamn dick move like nobody's business. This rat bastard is the person who's in New York. Drag him out of his seat. Oh man. Lefties have been losing like nobody's business in Los Angeles. She's better. Like just from a lefty standpoint, you listen to her and you say she's awesome. I like her. She has sass, she has vigor, and I like her policies. I like what she's saying. I like what she's telling me. And with him, I've been doing this for a while, and he looks like a guy who's trying to explain to his wife, why he's coming home so late. That's the entirety of the debate. That's what it looked like to me. He's trying to explain to his wife Why are you coming home at 2 a.m? Explain to me. Blah 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 blah. I stopped for McDonald's. I had flat tire. There was a guy at the store. I stopped the burglary. Shit, man, I'm a superhero. Like, that's what that looked like to me. Him trying to explain failure. Johnny come lately to policy. Why would you believe him? He's been in Congress, what, 31 years? Come on. I'm not going to keep this one long. I just think this is a massive dick move. And the least that can happen to him is that he lose for that. Come on, lefties. Why? Why? Like, why are you supporting a party like this? You understand that, for the most part, they're looking at you and they're making this assumption that you have nowhere else to go and that you're a captive bunch. And because you're a captive bunch, they can pull shit like this. At that point, it has nothing to do with democracy. It has nothing to do with representative government. It has everything to do with, we have a point of view with which we would like to espouse. And when election time comes around, we will shape ourselves into whatever we can shape ourselves, even if, it doesn't quite fit right. People don't necessarily pay attention all that much, and we'll just go along with it. I understand why people who are just Democratic hacks and anything that the Democratic Party does, they go along with it. But what about the left? The political equivalent of abused spouses. He literally sent pictures just to be a dick about this. Just to be that extra repugnant, that fantastically an asshole. I am in this area and I am not going to come to the debate hall, even though I said I was going to come to the debate hall. Amazing. But yeah, that's your resistance, ladies and gentlemen. He's scared of his last debate. That last debate, he got obliterated. Man, she ate through him like nobody's business. Steve Thomas, Crowley needs a nuke go off in his pants. A nuke go off in his pants. Skip Rock Jamal is the best yellow at YouTube. He expresses contempt while maintaining composure. Oh, thank you, Skip. I try. I don't want to be unhinged. I don't like the way you said that. Expresses contempt, just utter contempt. Maintaining composure. Jason Mederillos, 63 watching and 14 likes. Like, sub, homies. Aw, thanks, man. Right, I like it up. Mr. Crowley, what went wrong in your head? What went wrong was, oh my God, this woman keeps punching me, and I can't get her off me. That's what went off. She hit him on everything from the time that interview started to the time that thing ended. She tagged his ass. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, I wish her the best. God, I wish her the best. And it's stuff like this. There's this thing in my head called justice. And I call it justice. Because, and I would imagine everyone has that thing in their heads to some degree of justice. When they do MRIs and they look at people's brains and they show something that takes place and then a balancing of the scales, some people's heads lights up. Justice. I can't tell you exactly what it is in every scenario, but I know what goes off in my head. I know what it looks like. His ass losing is what it looks like. His ass losing. That's what that shit looks like. That's amazing. Yeah, that's exactly the way to get lefties. And look, maybe he just assumed I'm not going to get lefties. I hope he's right. I'll leave it at that. Alright, guys. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, of course. You can always support through Patreon. And yes, I want Joe Crowley out of that seat like nobody's business. That would be an amazing win. Taking down somebody who is potentially going to challenge Nancy Pelosi for the House lead. So, alright, guys. Have a good night.